Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Time now for both sides of the story on Power 106 F. Sides, but we listen to your side. Join us as we explore the issues, present the facts, speak with the experts, and as always, listen to both sides. What's your story? Tell us on both sides of the story. 922-4112, 922-4113, 922-4114, and 922-4115. You can listen to both sides of the story on the Gleaner's website, www.go-jamaica.com, on your mobile phones at tunein.com or nobex.com, or by dialing 832-551-5045 or 213-493-0133 in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can dial 020-3519-0145, and in Germany, 051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106@live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or link us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo, and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
Awake, my St. John. Leave all meaner things to low ambition and the pride of kings. Let us, since life can little more supply than just to look about us and to die, expatiate, free o'er all this scene of man, a mighty maze, but not without a plan, a wild where weeds and flowers promiscuous shoot, or garden, tempting with forbidden fruit. Together, let us beat this ample field, try what the open, what the covert yield, the latent tracks, the giddy heights explore, of all who blindly creep or sightless soar. Eye nature's walks, shoot folly as it flies, and catch the manners living as they rise. Laugh where we must, be candid where we can, but vindicate the ways of God to man. Say first, of God above or man below, what can we reason but from what we know? Of man, what see we but his station here, from which to reason or to which refer? Through worlds unnumbered, though the God be known, 'tis ours to trace him only in our own. He who through vast immensity can pierce, see worlds on worlds, compose one universe, observe how system into system runs. What other planets circle other suns? What varied being peoples every star? May tell why heaven has made us as we are. But of this frame, the bearings and the ties, the strong connections, nice dependencies, gradations just, has thy pervading soul looked through, or can a part contain the whole? Is the great chain that draws all to agree, and drawn, supports, upheld by God or thee?
King of kings, hallelujah, hallelujah. Lord of lords, hallelujah, hallelujah.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Jah, and the Word was Jah. In the beginning, Jah created the heaven and the earth. Then created man of his own likeness. Gave unto man wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
Jah is my help and my strength. So whom shall I fear? He's a shield upon my right and my left hand. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king. Jah is my light and my salvation. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide throughout this creation. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king. Jah is my guide in my resting and my rising. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide when I step out and forward. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king. Jah is my guide when Philistines come down upon me. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide when my enemies come to devour. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king. Jah is my guide from the pestilence of darkness. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide from the vampire flame. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king. Jah is my king. Jah is my health and my strength. So whom shall I fear? He's a shield upon my right and my left hand. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king.
It's the 29th day of the third month of 2021, the International Year of Peace and Trust, the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables, the International Year for the Elimination of Child Labor, and the International Year of Health and Care Workers. The month of March is still being observed as Women's History Month, World Endometriosis Month, Intellectual Disabilities Awareness Month, and Colon Cancer Awareness Month. It's Boganda Day in the Central African Republic, Intellectual Disabilities Awareness, Colon Cancer Awareness Month, Salt Awareness Month. It's National Mathematics Week here in Jamaica, Memorial Day in Madagascar, and Youth Day in Taiwan. It's Holy Week 2021. Hoy es lunes el 29 de marzo 2021. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa, Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones, y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos.
In my resting and my rising, so whom shall I fear?
C'est lundi le 29 mars 2021. Et nous vous saluons, tous qui nous écoutez, que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie, ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service pour une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
From the pestilence of darkness, so whom shall I fear?
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
COVID-19 is still here. Always wear your mask correctly while in public places, covering your nose and mouth at all times. Masks should never be worn over the head, under your chin, below your nose, or hanging from your ears. Recovery from COVID-19 can take up to 60 days or more. The mask or the ventilator? You choose. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Listen to the story of the Jamaican diaspora on Diaspora Check-In every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. during Both Sides of the Story with host Dervan Malcolm, the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. That's Diaspora Check-In every Wednesday during Both Sides of the Story, brought to you by GK Western Union. Receive money directly into your bank account today.
Jah is my healer. Jah is my health and my strength. So
It is Monday, the 29th of March, 2021, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices, and that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you would have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank you if you've visited the Gleaner's website, go-jamaica.com. Subscribers to onespotmedia.com also have access to Both Sides of the Story in particular and Power 106 FM in general. If you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States or the United Kingdom, we have a couple of numbers for you. Those in the US who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 631-359-8281. 631-359-8281. And if you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330-606-0953. 0330-606-0953. We thank you if you're watching on Facebook Live on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook in the search box atop the page. Type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you'll not only be able to see, or not only be able to hear, but also see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. And if you're not on Facebook, there's always YouTube. If you open a browser right now, type YouTube, you should get the YouTube website. And trending on that website right now should be this program, Both Sides of the Story on Power 106 FM. If you're not seeing it, then be more precise. And in the search box, the YouTube search box, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you'll be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. As we've indicated, it is Holy Week, according to the Christian calendar. And there's no time like the present for us to reflect on the lives we've been living, or how we've been living our lives, and where this approach to living our lives up to this point has taken us, and whether we don't need to recalibrate, recalculate, restore, repair, rethink, and we could go on. You get the picture. We will continue sharing excerpts from Alexander Pope's The Essay on Man, the first epistle. That's what we read from this afternoon. The Essay on Man, the first epistle by Alexander Pope. And we'll give you more excerpts from the Essay on Man for the rest of this week, both at the top and the tail of the program. You can listen out for that. The theme song this afternoon, Creation by Peter Tosh, That's the combination. We welcome those of you who are tuned in on the various platforms. Let's call some names now, shall we? Good afternoon and welcome to Beverleen in Toronto, Canada. Audrey Smith in Southampton, England. Beverleen says good afternoon to you too, Beverleen. Monique Green, good afternoon to you. She says good afternoon, Dervan. My daughters, Ashanique and DeRay, love your program. They are 7 and 10, respectively. Well, thank you very much, Ashanique and DeRay. And that name looks French because it has an acute accent over the E. So it's maybe I should pronounce it the French way. Daré, perhaps. Daré. No, we'll work with Daré for now, unless Monique Green tells us otherwise. Good afternoon to 7-year-old Ashanique and 10-year-old Daré. Thank you so much for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Lady Leslie Young, good afternoon to you. Always a pleasure to see you online. Cherry Henry, good afternoon to you too. Jean Small in Britain says, good afternoon, Sir Dervan. Good afternoon, Jean Small in the UK. Jacqueline Simmons, good afternoon. Blessings to you too. Valerie Rochester says, hello, Dervan. How are you? I'm giving thanks for life as usual. Valerie Rochester in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you very much for tuning in. Sylviana Johnson, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Nona Russell says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. To you too, Nona Russell. Nona Russell is watching from Maryland. Welcome to all the Jamaicans, not just in Maryland, but the entire DMV or the DC area, whichever you prefer. The D for Washington, DC, the M for Maryland, and the V for Virginia, the DMV. Antoinette Nash says, hello, Mr. Malcolm, regular listener to your program, first-time viewer here. Happy to have you on board as usual. Antoinette Nash, it's a pleasure. All the very best. Gaveth Peterson, good afternoon. Thank you very much for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Coming up at 2:30, Land Solutions. In the meantime, let's clear some more of your messages here on your program, both sides of the story. Michael from Belle Plaine in Clarendon says, hi, teacher, to you and Power 106 family. I'm here listening to cricket and watching you live on my iPhone. Keep up your good work. Well, thank you very much, Michael from Belle Plaine in Clarendon. And since you've gone there, we can't resist. Let's give you a quick update on what's happening in the second and final test match between the West Indies and Sri Lanka, being played at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in North Sound, Antigua. And let's tell you that the West Indies are 185 for 5. 185 for 5. And that is, let's see who's at the crease. Captain Craig Brathwaite is still there, having faced 161 balls for 73 runs so far. The wicketkeeper batsman Joshua Da Silva is with Captain Craig Brathwaite. He's off the mark with 1. Let's give you an idea of how the other members of the team have done today. John Campbell was caught by wicketkeeper Dick Weller off the bowling of Saranga Lakmal for 5, having faced 24 deliveries. Nkrumah Bonner, the centurion from the first test, could only manage a duck on this occasion. He was bowled by Lakmal for naught, having faced 6 deliveries. Kyle Mayers was looking good as usual and playing some elegant shots until he was caught by a wicketkeeper, caught behind. Well, the wicketkeeper is usually behind anyway. Caught by wicketkeeper Dick Weller of the bowling of MVT Fernando for 49. So he just missed out on a half century. He faced 61 deliveries. laced with 8 fours. Jermaine Blackwood was trying to break free and played some lovely shots. 2 fours and a 6. But hey, it's not a one-day international or a T20. It's Test cricket. So it's all about spending time at the crease. Not this time for Jermaine Blackwood. He's been trying, but didn't work out this time. He made 18. The immediate past captain of the West Indies Test cricket team, Jason Holder, held his own for a while, faced 34 deliveries, making 30 runs, caught by Tirimana off the bowling of De Silva for 30. And as we said, at the crease right now, Captain Craig Brathwaite on 73 and wicketkeeper. Oh no, did we just lose him as well? Oh dear. We just lost Joshua De Silva, the wicketkeeper. It's now 185 for 6. 185 for 6. Looks like some rear guard action is needed right now to at least get to a respectable first innings score. Nothing less than 250 will do. Hopefully much more than 250. But yeah, that's what's been happening so far at North Sound in Antigua, Sri Lanka versus the West Indies. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine is tuned in as usual. Welcome, Ricardo. Thank you very much. And good afternoon to one of my brothers, Daniil, who has been posting some family pictures, thankfully, not publicly, but some pictures that I don't even recognize the person who they say is me in these pictures. But really hilarious. You see, we can't erase our past, you know. And we shouldn't try to either. Let's yeah. Thank you for the pictures. Right. No, those will not make it to Facebook and those places. This one says, this is from Clarky Bless in Huntstown, St. Mary. He says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Happy Monday to you and your listeners. I just want to express my deepest condolences to the family and friends of 2 great Jamaicans who passed away over the weekend. I'm speaking of Dr. Jephthah Ford and Mr. Bill McCalla, attorney at law and justice of the peace. May their souls rest in peace and light perpetual shine on them. From Clarky Bless in Huntstown, St. Mary. Thank you, Clarky Bless in Huntstown, St. Mary. We join you in conveying condolences to those who have left us. And we want to wish their families and friends and colleagues all the very best as they seek to contend with their respective loss. After the break, it will be time for Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30.
You're not alone in feeling disconnected from family, friends, community, maybe even from God. This Easter, you can reconnect with people around the world and virtually gather to worship Jesus Christ, the one certain source of hope. Hear inspired messages and music that inspires feelings of hope and renewal. Join in celebrating the living Christ and praise Him for the peace and light He offers all.
Tune in to Power 106 FM on Sunday, April 4 at 10:30 a.m. to hear the General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
The Gleaner Premium will excite your digital media experience, satisfy your appetite for exclusive stories and special access to editors' fora, videos, podcasts, and much more. To subscribe, go to jamaica-gleaner.com/premium and select the e-Gleaner or website option. Welcome to your new digital experience, the Gleaner Premium.
Free premium access to unlimited news and value-added offerings. Limited time offer ends soon.
The Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce presents MIIC Live on both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm every first and third Thursday at 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Learn more about the manufacturing strategy, modernization in trading, foreign direct investments, and much more right here on Power 106 FM. This broadcast of MIIC Live is brought to you by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
It's a Monday afternoon, just after 2:30, and that means time for Land Solutions. This is the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114. The text line for Land Solutions doubles as a WhatsApp number as well. That number is 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. That's the Land Solutions text line, which doubles as a WhatsApp number. You can send your email messages to the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company by putting into the to section of your message gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. There's a website, landsolutionsja.com, and on Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They have an office upstairs, the JN building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. However, in light of the infection prevention and control measures right across the country, you're encouraged to call ahead and you'll be advised accordingly. Here are the numbers for the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company. Call them and they will advise you accordingly. 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. In a moment, your host on Land Solutions for today, attorney at law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan, and good afternoon to everyone. Welcome again to Land Solutions. As Dervan just told you, I'm Gloria Brown, and I want to say a special welcome to my many listeners all over Jamaica and throughout the world. Because wherever I go and whenever I get the calls, persons are calling me from all over, and I really thank you for supporting the program. And I really appreciate the many persons who have learned from this program. And that's the aim of the program, because as I always say, knowledge is power. And I want you not to just keep the knowledge to yourself, having learned, to just pass it on so persons don't make the same mistakes. Just want to remind my listeners, because many of them are older persons, to continue to try your best to keep safe. I know sometimes you have to go out and the mask is uncomfortable, but I beg of you, please cover your nose and mouth. Just breathe slowly in the mask, because I wear 2 masks and I find that after a time I don't even remember I have them on. And when I don't have them on, I feel so uncomfortable. Like I went to the dentist and I didn't have on, I had to take the mask off and I felt so uncomfortable not having the mask. So it's just a matter of practice. After a time, you'll get used to it. But I beg of you, it's worth your life to wear it. And remember, please, the grandchildren and the children who are coming in, make sure that they observe the protocol so that they can preserve your own lives. That's my older listeners in particular I'm talking to. Please remember, you may give me a call, 876-922-411224. And I must apologize again to many of our clients, those who would promise that you could get a title in the 8-9 months. Everything has slowed down, because you know that the government has asked public servants to work from home. And a lot of these organizations, these institutions, these departments, they really can't work from home because titles office it's unlikely they're going to allow them to take home the files, your titles, etc., to process them. So persons, a lot of times you work from home, it's really a free day. And it's a part of the challenge. The same thing at the courts, at the stamp office. So things are really backing up in those departments. We're going to ask you to bear, not just to bear with us, but to bear with all the other attorneys around Jamaica. And I really must express sincere condolences at the passing of Mr. McCullough from St. Anne, Robinson Phillips and Whitehorn, a great colleague, a wonderful person to work with. We had such a good relationship, so many files together. And to express, condolences to former Chief Justice Taylor McCullough on the passing of Mr. McCullough, was her husband. So sad, in these times to have persons die, from whatever different causes, but it's difficult this time because you can't even have the proper closure. We like to have a proper funeral, and that's not even possible in these times. But, as the song says, dust the heart to dust return, it was not spoken of the soul. So we really miss condolences on the passing of our colleagues, and many of our colleagues have passed since the pandemic. The times we are living in. Numbers to call 876-922-4112, 922-4113, and 922-4114. Please remember you can also send me a text message at 387-3183, 387-3183, or even a WhatsApp message to that same number as well. And I want to move into one of the text messages. I lease a piece of land from a lady. Know that we have settled ground, able to access proper water because the lady has no solid proof that the land is hers. And as a part of the challenge I have with the Water Commission, I'm sure you'll be able to get electricity through JPS. But the Water Commission makes it so difficult for persons to get water, and then they complain that they can't make a profit, while the JPS will always make a profit. Because a letter from an attorney would give you electricity right away. But the NWC is really making that difficult. And it's something I've written to them before about, but have made no progress. So what I'll do, I'll give you a call back though on that and to see how if a letter could assist you to start the process at least. But the reality is that a number of Jamaicans have no documentation to prove ownership. And an organization like the JPS should know that. Many of us, we pass the land by word of mouth. So, there's nothing but the mouth. And well, we know what that means. So I'm begging persons, though, to get things in writing, especially in these times, write things down. Get documentation for your property. You don't have anything now, survey the land and let us start looking about the title for you. There are many avenues we can use if you don't have any documentation. You can use so many things are there that that can assist to show that you are the owner. Maybe you have been leasing this to person for more than 12 years. The lease documents are beautiful evidence. The lease documents are beautiful evidence of ownership of land. So any little thing, the birth certificate of the children were born there, the letter from JPS to say how long you have had light, all of those things would help. So I beg of persons. Okay, does having a common law title remove your portion of land from the larger portion? And can you pay tax for that common law piece? A common law title is really a document. It's a form that you buy. You can buy it in a bookstore. A lawyer could prepare it for you, showing that you are the owner of property. If the land already has a registered title, though, you cannot get a common law title out of that. You can only get a registered title out of that. If the common law title is properly stamped and prepared and the land is not registered, and it is given to you by the person whose name is on the tax roll, you can use it to cut off your piece of land and to get to pay your own taxes. But the reality is that most of the land in Jamaica, the people on it are dead. So there's nobody to swear you off, as we say. That's a part of the challenge. So if the person who has given you the common law title is the person whose name is on the tax paper, and I'm talking about the name at the top, not the name paid by, but the name of owner. And that person is the owner. The person could get you cut off to pay your own taxes. If not, use your common law title to survey your land, use your common law title to get a title, and that will cut you off automatically. If one is gifted land, has own survey, how to get a title and pay own taxes. So this person really has a serious, the same person who sent both questions, because what you really need is a title. So you have an old survey diagram. Take that old survey diagram to a surveyor and see if the surveyor can update the diagram. It doesn't matter whose name is on the diagram. If it's somebody long past, it doesn't matter. ask the surveyor if the surveyor can update the diagram. The surveyor will be able to update the diagram if the surveyor can show that the pegs are still in place. Then he will do a declaration, and that declaration will update the diagram for another 7 years. And we hope you'll get a title within the 7 years. So you're going to update your survey. You're going to show whatever you said. There's the old diagram, and you have a gift of land. I hope you have some paper, even a little piece of paper to say I give, even a letter, anything to show that somebody gave you the land. So anything in writing, it doesn't have to be official. It doesn't have to be some official document or common law title, etc. Even a letter to you to say I'm giving you my daughter this piece of land. May you enjoy your time. Anything on it, anything with a date would help you. Also, you're going to need 2 persons in the community who have known the land for 30 years. And we don't want these persons to live abroad. They can live anywhere, in any parish, but they must have known the land for 30 years. As you said, pay up the taxes. So even though you're just trying to get taxes, you're just trying to get a title for 1/4 acre and the land is 5 acres, you have to pay up the taxes for the 5 acres for us to assist. You don't have to pay it at the beginning, but before you can get the title, you're going to have to pay it. And any other document you have, take them to us and we'll prepare the documents for the 2 persons who have known the land. We don't need them to write anything. We just need their name, age, address, occupation. We will prepare what they are to sign. You have to give us as well a history of the land from at least 30 years. And when I ask for the history, don't just say John Brown. What we want the history to say, John Brown owned the land from 1960, died in 1970, and Peter took possession. Peter sold it to Mary in 2005, and Mary has been there since. That's about the little history we want. So we want names and dates. John Brown owned it from the 50s, died, and his son Peter Brown took it over in the 70s when he died. So you don't even know the exact date, early 70s, late 70s, but you need a proper history, at least going back 30 years. So at least from the 1990s, preferably 80s or 70s. But you're going to need all of that. Put that together and be able to get a title for you. As I said, usually, if all things being equal, it usually would take a year. I think you're looking at about 2 years now or so. And it depends, again, on the status of your documentation. Because sometimes we have to go other routes. Sometimes when we see that we can't succeed, we have to go an adjudication route where we ask you to meet with a team of persons for them to see whether or not you really are the owner, or we might have to get a certificate of compliance under the Facilities for Title Act to see if we can assist. But there are many routes. When the application fails, there are many different routes, and sometimes you might wonder, why is your title taking so long? But sometimes we have tried one route, it has not worked, so you have to use another route. Maybe you have to get the certificate of compliance, as I said before, because when you get that, that is indefeasible. That is a last resort. We don't go after that unless your application has failed, because that's an extra expense in the process. Numbers to call, 876-922-4112, 922-4113, and 922-4114. And remember, you can send me a text message at 387-3183. Also, you can use that number. That's 876-387-3183. You can also use that number to send me a WhatsApp message. And remember that my name is Gloria Brown. We have an office in Ocho Rios. Because this week is Holy Thursday, Miss Finley will not be in the Ocho Rios office this week, but she'll be there, God willing, next week, Thursday. I'll be there on the second Thursday and the last Thursday. And remember that we ask you not just to walk in, but to call to make an appointment. Because a lot of times when you call, I will say to you, don't come because I need XYZ. You waste your visit sometimes because you don't have the survey diagram and I might need a survey diagram. So please call. I'm always willing to talk to the person as long as I can find the time, or I'll ask you to call back, or I'll call back, so I can tell you at least the things that you need to take with you.
Quick break, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Dervan.
Win more money with Lucky Play Lotteries. Play Big Pot, Super 5, and Dream 6 today. The time by Lucky Play Lottery is
2:45.
The Gleaner Premium will excite your digital media experience. Satisfy your appetite for exclusive stories and special access to editors' fora, videos, podcasts, and much more. To subscribe, go to jamaica-gleaner.com/premium and select the e-Gleaner or website option. Welcome to your new digital experience, the Gleaner Premium.
Free premium access to unlimited news and value-added offerings. Limited time offer ends soon.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, and 876-922-4114. The text line for Land Solutions is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-387-3183, 876-387-3183. The website is landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They have an office upstairs, the JN building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. In light of the infection prevention and control mechanisms, you're being advised to call the offices of Brown, Findlay and Company instead of just turning up. Call and you'll be advised accordingly. 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. Once again, here's attorney at law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Another text message. My mother gave me a piece of land and I had it surveyed 2 weeks ago. What else must I do to prove the title is mine? My mother is 86 years old and very sick, so I'm really concerned. Very similar to what I told the client before, but what I would ask you to do as well, since your mother is not well, ask your mother to make a will within the property to you and also have your mother do what we call a deed of gift. I'm not sure if there is a title for it, but if your mother could just do a document, a deed of gift, maybe a very common law title I told you about, you can buy it in a bookstore and have anyone to fill it out for you, let your mother sign it over to you, the little piece that she's given. You can say 1 square of land or 2 squares, but get it written down, and it's good, really. It's really good for you to have your mother make a will now. And it also, I hope you have a survey that, oh yes, you said you had it surveyed 2 weeks ago, wonderful. You could also have the attorney, it's going to take the survey a little while to get the diagram officially out of the survey department. But ask the surveyor if he would give you a copy or she would give you a copy of the diagram. So you could take that to your attorney and start the process of doing the application, because your mother can do the application and ask for the title to come out in your name. Sometimes that's a little easier. But what I want to look at, though, is that you said your mother gave you a piece of land. Did she give you all that she has or just a piece of what she has? Because if it's just a piece of what she has, then you're going to have to apply to the parish council for permission to cut the land. And you know if the piece of land is too small, you might have a challenge, because if it's too small, the parish council might not give the permission for you to have it cut off. But if your mother gave it to you more than 7 years ago and you have documentation, we will be able to assist you by applying for a waiver of the subdivision. So those are some questions that you're going to have to answer, give me some answers to, so I can properly advise you. The numbers to call, 922-4112, 876-922-4112, 922-4113, 922-4114.
We have a couple of calls for you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm calling about a piece of land.
I'm going to ask you to talk a little louder for me, though.
Yeah, I'm calling about a piece of land. You hearing me now?
Yes, I am. Thanks.
Yes, I'm calling you about a piece of land my father lives on. He bought 1 square of the land and he had a 4 square.
And he did what with the other 4?
Lease.
Yes.
And we on the land, taking care of the land, farming the land from 1974 until now. We're on the land. The owner for the land died about 25 years now.
Yes.
So we want to know what to do, because for the tax.
So who have you been paying the lease to since he died?
Nobody come forward.
All right. So your father could survey the entire property, though. The 5 squares that he leased plus the 1 square that he bought. He could survey them and move towards getting a title. Survey them and then go to your attorney for the attorney to assist you. And you're sure it's not government land?
No.
All right. So yes,
And we live on the property for 48 years, from 1974.
Since nobody has come forward all this time, survey the entire thing and then speak to your attorney for assistance.
Okay.
Are you paying? Is he paying the taxes?
Yes, he pays the tax.
All right, that's wonderful. So you would have documentation. So please do that.
Yes.
Survey, and then move towards title with your attorney.
Okay, thank you very much.
After you have surveyed, you can give us a call.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anything, I'll give you a call.
Sure, thanks.
Okay,
bye-bye. Good afternoon.
Sorry, Ms. Brown. Just go ahead. We'll let you know when the next call is online.
Yes, thank you, Dervan. And that's something we want to encourage persons as well. I was reading an article just online from one of the Barbados newspapers, where the government was going to demolish a number of houses because they said a lot of persons have gone abroad and left these houses. They have migrated, and many of them they did not leave family in Barbados, etc. And I'm just asking persons, as a part of the estate planning, we have an obligation to plan our estates to say what is to happen. You might not have a child or a spouse or brothers and sisters, but there is somebody or an organization you could leave whatever you have to. But we're going to beg persons, just write down something. Don't just leave your things to the elements. I know we have this belief that if we make the wills, we're going to die, but we know that that's not true. We know that's not true. And a lot of times why persons say they make the wills they're going to die is because we know a lot of persons who have made them and died soon after. But it's because most of us the times persons wait until they are dying to make them. And then the families blame the will. I beg of persons, please make your wills and say what is to happen to your properties. Or even sell the properties in your lifetime if you know that, and see if you could move it to something smaller, maybe rent something so you have the assets, you have the income from it to look after yourself. But at least plan your estate. Plan what is to happen, because many times we will live very, very long and then, nothing happens, we die suddenly. We don't know what will happen. Okay, we know not what of good or ill may be reserved for us. Weary ways are golden days. We don't know what will happen. So I beg of persons, plan your estate. I always say that planning of estate, making the will is like salvation. Most of us plan to be saved, but we just say not today, we're going to do it tomorrow. And then we keep putting off the will, and then we know what happens. The numbers to call 876-922-4112, 922-4113, and 922-4114. And remember, you can send me a message, a WhatsApp message, 387-3183, or even a text message to that same number, 387-3183. I bought a piece of land from my uncle, and after I bought it, I found out the land he sold me was not turned over in his name. How should I go about this? So even though the property was not turned over to your uncle's name, if it was your uncle's land, then the uncle could sell it, and that can be sorted out. So what we'd want you to do is I don't know how long ago you bought it from your uncle. I don't know if uncle is still alive, but you could survey the piece. I really believe in surveys. The surveyors out there probably really love me because I'm always encouraging the clients, get a survey. Because when you have that survey diagram, when you walk into my office with that survey diagram, I'm really ready to run. I'm ready to run with your application. So you're not sure if uncle's property was not turned over to uncle, but uncle might have still been the owner. Maybe it was in uncle's father's name. Uncle just never sorted it out and sold it to you. So what you're going to do, if uncle is still alive, let uncle give you whatever evidence he has that the property is his. If you bought it from him more than 12 years ago, then you are in a very good place. You just survey your piece and we'll assist you to get a title. But again, I want to encourage persons, don't just give persons your money and get a receipt and say, yeah, the land is mine. It does not work like that. buying land is one of the is one of the largest investments you would make in your lifetime. So get it done right, please. Get it done right. So get a lawyer, and the person who is selling the land should have a lawyer as well, because a lawyer would have told you that uncle does not have the proper documentation. And in situations like those, when if uncle is selling you the property, I would ask uncle to start the application for title, because it's easier if he starts it. And then in the process, we do the sale. And we can ask for the title to come out in your name. You haven't paid uncle. But at least you'd want to know if uncle is going to be successful with the application. And you can know that very early in the process. The numbers to call, 876-922-4112, 922-4113, and 922-4114. And the text line, as I said earlier, is 387-3183. And you can also send me a regular message to that number, 387-3183. Remember, we have an office in Winchester Business Center, Shop 39, and also in the Ocho Rios office. As I said, Miss Finley will not be there with this Thursday, but she'll be there next week, Thursday. But feel free to give us a call in our offices. We will always give you advice as best as we can. So the office numbers, and you want to call me in office, 908-1950, or you want to call Miss Finley, 908-1950, or 908-3518. As Dervan reminded you at the beginning of the program, we really prefer if you call us before you turn up. Don't just say, oh, Miss Brown is going to be in office, so I'm going to turn up. It's best, because sometimes you come at a time and somebody else already has that time, or too many persons might be in the office, etc. And sometimes, as I said earlier, I would want to ask you to do some homework, I call it, before you come. And remember, again, to my listeners, you don't want to have to spend the trip and come, and then when you come, you have not carried the documents. When you are coming to see me, I beg of you, don't just decide which documents you think Miss Brown will want to see. As I tell the clients, the only thing you don't bring is the land. Bring everything, all the old papers. Miss Brown will not mind sorting through it, or Miss Finley. We don't mind going through it to tell you which ones we are interested in, which ones we are not. Bring the old tax paper, the old light bill, the old survey diagram, the old common law title, the old will, anything, even though it might look like it does not make sense, the old letter that you have. Everything that you have, bring them, and we will tell you what we want. We'll copy what we want. A lot of times we don't even need the original. We just need a photocopy. And we'll gladly copy them free of cost for you in office. But please remember, it's very, very important for you to sort your matters, for you to bring all your documents with you so we can help you. Because what might not seem important to you might be very, very important to us. And remember that we are begging everybody, get documentation for the land, get a title, get a title, get a title, make a will, make a will, make a will. It creates a lot, it makes life very, 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 very easy when you die with a will rather than without. This is Land Solution.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock.
Become the hero on the scene by taking the COVID vaccine. Get vaccinated as soon as you get all the facts. Don't listen to the rumors. This vaccine might just make it possible for teachers to sit face to face with schoolers. This vaccine make it safer for everybody, from the young to the elderly. Don't you want to go back to living normally when things were more orderly? And if you want to live a long good life, then we all have to do what's right. So let's get vaccinated along with the heroes on the front line.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Tune in to Farm Talk, 6:18 to 6:35 a.m. the first Tuesday of every month, and 6:18 to 6:45 p.m. the last Tuesday of every month for First San in the Field. Real issues, real solutions. Join the Newport First San team in the field as they identify problems and tell you how to address them. First San in the Field, Real Issues, Real Solutions is brought to you by Newport First San Jamaica Limited, the first on the land.
You're listening to Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922, well, let's leave it at 4 for the time being. The text line for Land Solutions is 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. The website is landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They do have an office upstairs, Shop 6, the JN Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. They encourage you to call ahead instead of turning up, and you'll be advised accordingly. The numbers to call the law firm Brown, Findley and Company, 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. Once again, here's attorney at law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. As Dervan just told you, please remember the numbers to call, 387-3183. I'm sorry, the numbers to call, 922-411-224, 922-411-224. You may call that number now to ask any question you want to ask about land ownership. And you may send me a text message at 387-3183 or WhatsApp message at that same number, 387-3183. This is something that Ms. Finley and I will mention in every now and then, because we recognize that a lot of the conflict we're having, so many of the conflicts in Jamaica are fueled by land. A lot of times persons have expectations that don't coincide with reality. So you expect that mama is going to leave the land for you, and that's not the reality. Mama is going to leave it for your sister or your brother or your children. And we need persons to recognize that in Jamaica we have something called freedom of testamentary disposition, which means that people are free to leave their property to whoever they want to leave it to. You don't have to leave anything for your children. You have no obligation to children. You can leave the property for the neighbor, for a stranger, for somebody you have just met. You have no obligation to leave property for anybody, spouse or children. So children who sit with expectation to say the property is going to be mine because it was my father, when they have no obligation to give it to you, they could sell it and give away the money to charity. And a lot of the problems we're having, because as I said, people, what they expect or what they think should happen is not the reality. If a person dies without a will and the person has a spouse and one child, the spouse is to get 2/3 of what is there and the child will get 1/3. So the reality is, a lot of times you might say, but his daddy who died and daddy had bought that property with mama before, but mama died before and daddy got married again. If daddy does not make a will and daddy got married again, the new wife is to get 2/3 and the child is to get 1/3. If you have 2 or more children, then the new wife is to get 1/2 and the children share the other half. That is the reality. That's what happens when you don't make a will. And I've always said to my listeners, do not complain about how it is shared, how things are shared when you don't make a will.
We have another call for you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon.
Yes.
Oh, I'm not going to give you my name, but I'm going to tell you my problem.
Yes.
I have a family land that was willed to me and 2 siblings.
Yes.
Apparently, 2 are in England. I am out here. I've been trying to get the title for that place now nearly 2 years. I've severed it and everything. There was an amendment. I had the amendment done and I took it into LAMP since September. My big problem is that I have 2 buyers, positive buyers. One
Yes.
don't tell me about
what is the problem? What is preventing the application? Because there could be many reasons.
Apparently, the title is a problem, but when I went to a lawyer where I'm living, she said it's impossible to do anything without the title.
Yes, you can't say without the title. So what I'm asking you, what is preventing you from getting the title? What are they saying is the problem?
No, the amendment that I got, they were asking if this land is a part of, say, A or part of B.
Oh, it was
However,
an amendment.
the
It was a question for the surveyor.
And I took it in, as I said, from September after the amendment.
Yes. Oh,
And I'm not getting nowhere to find out where is the title.
It's a surveyor who had to do the amendment.
Yes, he did it.
All right.
It took him 1 year, but he did it.
Just listen, please. Huh? So you just need to ask them now what has happened since they have the new survey diagram. What has happened? Because if after September,
Miss, I'm sorry to call you because I've been calling.
So you're saying you don't know what has happened since September? You have not spoken to them since September?
No, I've spoken to one of the attorneys.
All right. What I'm going to ask you to do me a favor, please. Send me a text message with your name and where the property is, so I could do a check for you.
All right.
Okay.
I will listen again and get your text number.
Yes, please do, and just send me a text, and I'll ask someone to check on it for you.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Sure, my pleasure.
The land is in Portland, and I'm in St.
All right.
Thomas.
Okay, I'll get someone to just tell me what's happening.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
You. Have a good afternoon.
You too. Thanks.
Another caller for you, Miss Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to know how can I go about getting a government surveyor, please?
The government surveyor? The government does not. Tell me why you want a government surveyor.
Really, and a fact, the private one them is charging too much.
The government doesn't provide that service, you know.
Okay.
They don't provide surveyors to do surveys for you. Oh. You'd have to get a private surveyor. So get a surveyor and explain your situation. Most of them are so reasonable. They will allow you to pay it in 4 parts, a lot of them, and so on. But you need to get your title. You know?
Where I'm from. Where I'm from, they want the amount they ask you for.
But the land is big.
No, just a quarter acre and a lake.
Yes. Most of them, the prices don't vary much, you know. So I'm really sorry about that. But there's no way I know of any government survey that will do it for you for free. They don't provide that kind of service, unfortunately.
Okay, darling.
But I'm going to ask you though to give me a call on my cell phone. Let me see let me see if I could maybe beg one of, you know, give you a list of some surveyors to see if one of them could really explain your plight to them and see if they could assist.
Okay. What is your number?
387. 3183.
3183.
Yes, maybe I can even talk to the director of surveys, who is my friend in a former life, to see if he could assist you, to see if one of the government surveyors would help.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Hi,
Dervan. How are you?
Hi, fine, thanks. Thanks for calling. All the best.
Okay, bye.
Sure, bye-bye. The numbers to call, 876-922-4112, 922-4113, and 922-4115. And remember, the text line is 387-3183.
And here's another, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Land Solution.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Not good as the honorable lawyer sounded. Tell me something.
Yes, my brother.
What is the difference between landholder and owner? Is there a difference?
Well, I guess
landholder and landowner.
I guess the holder is the one who holding it for the owner.
So who is really the owner of all these land here in Jamaica?
And I'm not going to go into that story. That story starts from 1655 and it can't finish it. All right, my brother. Seem to have lost him. The numbers to call 922-4112, 922-4113, and 922-4114. And the text line or WhatsApp line 387-3183. We have a piece of land and intend to lease it. All right? And this person is going to send me some more information. Sometimes when clients tell me they're going to lease land, and I understand the predicament, you know, that person needs. But we're such an indisciplined set of people that I'm really afraid of advising my clients to lease properties. Because you lease today and you tell them don't put up a structure and you go there next week and there's a 2-story house on it. And you know in Jamaica, might is right. So be very, very careful how you lease land to persons. They might say they want to farm and before you look around, the entire family has moved onto your land and there are 20 little one-bedroom houses on it. So be very careful. Know who you are leasing to make sure a proper lease agreement is in place. Certain terms are there to say it will be terminated immediately if you put up a permanent structure. All of those things. But we have challenges. We, as a country, we are well nigh ungovernable. We just don't listen. We just feel that we can do whatever we want, and we go abroad and we are model citizens when we go abroad. But in Jamaica, we feel we must not obey any law. So again, as I said, be careful how you lease land. It can be troublesome. I know there are persons out there they don't have their own and they need to lease. But I've had so many situations, they lease and they say they're not going to put up a permanent structure, and then you hear they say, oh, you expect man to live in a board house and before you look around concrete and problems. So think about it carefully. I know the predicament. I know persons can't buy land. I know persons need land to lease. But we have to obey the rules. We have to stick to the terms of the agreement that we arrive at. Numbers to call 922-4112, 922-4113, and 922-4114. And the text line, as I said, is 387-3183. Okay, I have to get myself in trouble. Can you help me to find a surveyor? Just put in the term survey in Google, land surveyor, and see. And these days, as I tell the clients, these are the days you can always shop around. But, it's difficult. And sometimes it's better you find the surveyor who's working in your area, because you might be in Westmoreland and I am recommending a surveyor in Kingston. They're going to cost more. So a lot of times persons can tell you, oh, this is Mr. X is the one who surveys in these areas. And that might make it a little easier, but it's a little difficult. I know persons have their challenges. I know we have our problems. I know it's hard to find the funds. You really want the title, but there's no survey.
Another one for you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon, Miss Brown. How are you doing?
Sir. I'm good. You?
Yeah, I'm listening to you time on time, and I love that encouragement that you give to the people who lease them land.
Yes.
We have so many dishonest people around, as you said it, and I know they are there just to cut down us and, to do the things not to really help us to rise up.
Yes, my brother. Just like we have some professional tenants, they'll stay in everybody's house for 6 months and pay the first rent.
Yeah. Miss Brown.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
What I wanted to encourage the government to do, are those crowdland that them have sitting down and not working or not doing anything. It is time now for give the university students, the teachers, the lawyers, and the young people, and all the farmers, and the young people in Jamaica, cut up the crowdland and give them the land, and they take time pay for it as soon as, whatever them doing, investing. Once you have a teacher coming up and teaching, instead of go abroad and living at the cold, they get land here to build them house, and the government must help the people. And the government is just wasting time, just running up them out on PR and not doing the things necessary to build a nation. We need title for the land, them.
I agree with you. I agree with you to quite a bit of what you have said, sir. Because when you look, let's say that maybe about 40 of Jamaica squatting. When you talk to the average person squatting, if they can get a little piece of land, they will gladly buy it, sir. You seem to have lost my caller, but I really want to agree with that caller. A lot of persons just want an opportunity. I've seen persons squatting on properties, and you just tell them it is for sale, and they line up to buy it. They find everything they can to buy. They have to Jamaica and just wants an opportunity. And that's why a lot of persons go abroad, because you can see what you work for. A lot of times you are able to acquire something.
Let's go to a break, Ms. Brown, and come back with more in just a moment.
Thank you, Dervan.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876-754-7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is
3:15.
Tune into Farm Talk, 6:18 to 6:35 a.m. the first Tuesday of every month, and 6:18 to 6:45 p.m. the last Tuesday of every month for First Hand in the Field. Real issues, real solutions. Join the Newport First Hand team in the field as they identify problems and tell you how to address them. First Hand in the Field, Real Issues, Real Solutions is brought to you by Newport First Hand Jamaica Limited, the first on the land.
It's the final segment of Land Solutions for today, Monday, the 29th of March. An opportunity for you to get in those questions before today's edition of Land Solutions ends. The numbers to call 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, and 876-922-4114. The Land Solutions text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-387-3183, 876-387-3183. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The website is landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the JN Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. In light of the infection prevention and control mechanisms in place right across Jamaica, you're being encouraged to call the law firm Brown, Findley and Company, and you'll be advised accordingly. The numbers to call, 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. Once again, here's attorney at law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. And a text message. Should a person seek permission to build another board structure after the first one deteriorates on a leased property? Yes. Please seek permission. So you lease the property and you had a board structure and it has deteriorated, ask for permission to renew, to put a new one in place. You might even ask permission to put a bigger one, but get permission. Whatever you are doing, get permission. The numbers to call 922-411-224 and the text line 387-3183. Well, this person said the man needs to understand that a lot of the crown land is land that the AG doesn't sort out for people's estate. Not exactly. The part when a person dies and the person dies without leaving any next of kin, that means they don't leave a child or a spouse or parents or children or grandparents or uncles and aunts. Then the property could go bona vacante to the crown, and that will become crown land. But a lot of the lands that have not been sorted out by the Administrator General, the beneficiaries are alive and well. It's just that they haven't sorted them out, and that does not become crown land. So a very small amount might become crown land because the person died without leaving any next of kin. So after they don't have any of those persons I mentioned, then the land would go to the government. But a lot of it is land that the government has inherited, that they got from as I said, 1655 when it came down when the English invaded us and captured Jamaica. A lot of it has come from that, and a lot of it really needs to be sorted out. And you have a point as well when you talk about crown land, and land becomes crown land to the Administrator General, as I said, when a person dies without next of kin and doesn't make a will. Because you might not have any next of kin, but you can make a will and will it to your church, to the child who raised you, who you raised, to the person who's looking after you when you are sick. But make the wills. If you make the will, it can't become crown land. But I agree with the listener, as I said, to some extent, because a lot of persons, nurses, teachers, as you said, a lot of them go abroad not because they want to, because who would want to work in snow that is reaching up to your knee? But it's just that it's hard to make a living. In Jamaica, it's hard to make a living, and it's hard to, you see retirement creeping up on you, and you don't have a car, you don't have a house, your children need to go to university, and they have heavy student loans. So a lot of persons leave and intending to come back, which is why the remittance flow is usually so good even in a pandemic. Persons intend to come back, but a lot of persons really say, I need to go away so I can work for 10 years and at least have a car, at least be able, because if you meet, no matter where you meet the Jamaicans, they plan to come back. Even when they have been away for 50 years, they really plan to come back. That's a part of the reality. I spoke earlier about, that Ms. Cindy and I will be looking a little bit over time about the many land disputes that we have. And I've always been advocating since I started this program that we need a land court, like where you have a traffic court, a family court, a gun court. We need a land court because a lot of land matters are tied up in court for too long, and justice delay is justice denied. When persons see that they can't get justice, they take it into their own hands. Even the Bible tells you that. So we need a court where you have specialist judges who have knowledge in land, who can move these matters fast through the courts. Because I don't think the average person understands the number of land problems we have in this country. And I say that to introduce the persons, the Dispute Resolution Foundation. And it's an excellent organization. They have a YouTube channel that I encourage persons access to justice. Miss Finney and I did something the other day on dead left land for that. I don't think it's on the channel yet, but I'm going to encourage my persons, my listeners, to go to DRF, Dispute Resolution Foundation, that their YouTube site, access to justice. Because a lot of times when we have these family land matters, I want to encourage persons to know that there is such an organization called the Dispute Resolution Foundation that you can go to and get them to assist you to solve some of the problems. Brothers and sisters not getting on because they can't decide who must get the front room and who must walk here so to go to the bathroom, and the mother leave a room for them but never leave any kitchen. All a lot of these little things, we can get them sorted out. You don't have to, a lot of times you don't have to get the expense of a lawyer. Call the Dispute Resolution Foundation, let them get a mediator to assist you. Sometimes even the very children you have, so them can't live together when you're alive, much less when you're dead. Them not getting on when you're alive, what can happen when you're dead? Some of these things are things that you probably could go to Dispute Resolution Foundation. Dispute Resolution Foundation and see they could assist you to say how best bring in the children. Let us try to resolve this. So when you die, you don't in your grave and can't rest in peace because the children can't live in peace. And sometimes it's these very challenges that carry us home early because we know what's going to happen and we fret over it. So we can't rest in peace if we know the beneficiaries can't live in peace. And these are things that I'm going to ask my listeners to be aware of this organization, because a lot of things, what I found out in Jamaica, is that we have made provisions for partially everything. The systems are in place, but a lot of these systems are the best kept secrets. It's just that there are so many scholarships out there for university students to get, but it's a secret. Everything is a secret in this country. And as we said, if you want something to be a secret, write it down, because we are a people who don't read. We don't like to read. We like to watch and listen, and we love to talk. Okay, remember, I never forget, I keep saying it so many times. I've said it hundreds of times on this program, because it is on this very program that a man called me and told me years ago, and I'd really love to know if that listener is still around, that a short pencil is better than a long memory. Write it down. Even with a pencil, write it down. Short pencil better than long memory, because long memories die. When you write it down, it don't die. Even if it's a short pencil you write it with. So I'm encouraging my listeners, and I'm introducing my listeners to the Dispute Resolution Foundation, and ask you to look at their YouTube page to see how you can look at the different things, access to justice. Because a lot of these things that I'm saying, and that we see on these programs, colleagues, listeners, we won't get them on some of the different movies that we watch and the shows that we watch. And then we say we don't know, but a lot of the information as well, I might say a lot of them might be a secret, but some of them, you get them on different programs, but we're not listening to those programs. Some of us are so Christian that we only listen to Christian radio. So how you're going to know about the tithes until the man come and take away your land? Okay? We need to walk humbly and not as fools, redeeming the times, because the days are evil, the days are tricky. So Christians must listen radio to know what is happening. So I'm introducing to you Dispute Resolution Foundation. They are in North Avenue, Kingston Gardens, and a number for them is 960-6160, 960-6160. You have a little family problem, you and the neighbors can't decide, because as soon as you plant the peg, the neighbor remove it. And that peg has moved so many times that even the poor peg is tired. And that's another problem we have. So you have that problem, and you and the neighbors can't decide where the peg is to be, and it's where you can't live in peace. And before it goes any further, call the Resolution Foundation and see if they can set up a little meeting with you and the neighbor to see how the two of you can bless, because sometimes the two of you singing on the same choir and one sit at east and one at west because you can't get on because of a simple peg, because of a simple boundary, because somebody decided that the mango tree is over their side and you say it's over your side. And the mediators, that's what they are there to do. So I'm encouraging my listeners, because a lot of the disputes we're having, a lot of the family problems, a lot of the conflicts, a lot of the high blood pressure caused because of land. And I don't know if because they took us from Africa with nothing. Some of us not even close on our back where the land is in such dispute, where we have so many land problems. Sometimes when the listeners call on the weekend, I have to tell them that I am landed out. Sometimes it's just too many and I'm begging persons, which is why I could make the wills and sort out the titles while we're alive. A lot of the context we don't have, A lot of it we don't have. And sometimes when the children can't get on, you might have to put in the will that the properties to be sold and the money shared up between them or among them. But I'm asking my listeners, let us in 2021, we see the times we are living in, that they are very strange times. So I'm preaching today. I'm preaching and begging my listeners in this sermon on the land to put things together. And I want to really thank, I know a lot of the listeners out there laughing at me preaching today, because I have some real loyal listeners. I want to say hello to the Justice of the Peace and to the many persons who sit under the tree in the afternoon, who look forward to the programs, especially some of the older persons who know, you can't go out, you can't go to church, so this is part of your entertainment. And I try to entertain you today while teaching you. But I'm begging persons to write down the will. It must be in writing. And it must be signed and it must be witnessed by two persons. And they must be there with you when you're signing it. They don't have any right to read your will is private. When you call Miss Brown and Miss Finley and say, please witness the will, you can cover it up with your hand or cover it up with a book. All the witnessing is your signature. Even though we say the witness in the will, they're really witnessing your signature. I know there's this Jamaican talk that I don't want to do, sign, and then I don't know what I'm signing. If they want to read it, get somebody else. Your will is private. But when you make the will, let somebody know you have it. Please don't hide it when nobody don't know, so you have it after you die. It don't make any sense. I beg of you, my listeners. Listen, don't be forgetful hearers of the word. We're going into a lockdown this weekend again. Good Friday, Easter Monday coming up, and I want persons to let us just sit down and just put things together. Get a little paper, a little book leaf, an exercise leaf book, and write down these things and get two persons. The will don't have to be big and fancy. I leave the house to my daughter, Mary. Date it, sign it, and get two persons to witness it. And that's a will. Doesn't have to be complex. We have been preaching, Miss Finney and I have been preaching this message for so long, and still I get so many persons calling to say so and so has died without a will and they plan to make it. And all when they are 90, I hear that they die suddenly. 99 die suddenly, so they never got to make a will. And we need to start making excuses for our relatives and tell them to be responsible. It's part of your stewardship. Please remember that we have an office in the office of, the firm. Our firm is Brown, Findlay and Company. We have an office in Ocherius, Shop 6 Jamaica National Building. Miss Finn will be there next Thursday. I'll be there the other Thursday. Also, we have an office in Winchester Business Center and in Halfway Tree. You can just call our offices 908-1950 or 908-3518. Next week, Monday, I think, is Easter Monday, so the program would not be on, so it'll be on the other Monday, God willing. And I want to thank my listeners. I want to encourage you, take care of yourselves, cover your nose, cover your mouth, wash the hands, use the sanitizer, tell your grandchildren to stay away from you. And I want to thank Dervan and Adrian Reed for supporting the program this afternoon. And thank you, all my listeners. Have a good day.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:30.
Where are you? Are you trapped in your mind counting numbers? Are you a small business trying to leave your footprint in the world? I can help to take your business anywhere. Are you jogging or are you racing to close the deal of the century? There's a good chance we can do great things together. Are you home, pacing the kitchen, confused about what to eat and how you'll pay your staff? I'm way ahead of you. I'll give you the money when you need it. I'm the voice in your ear. My voice? I'm a bank that will meet you where you are. A bank that cares. Exim Bank cares. Exim cares about your business. Exim cares about you.
The Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce presents MIIC Live on both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm every first and third Thursday at 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Learn more about the manufacturing strategy, modernization in trading, foreign direct investments, and much more right here on Power 106 FM. This broadcast of MIIC Live is brought to you by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Jah, and the Word was Jah. In the beginning, Jah created the heaven and the earth. Then created man of his own likeness. Gave unto man wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
Jah is my help and my strength, so whom shall I fear? He's a shield upon my right and my left hand, so whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king, Jah is my light and my salvation, so whom shall I fear? He's my guide throughout this creation, so whom shall I be? Jah is my king, Jah is my guide in my resting and my rising, so whom shall I fear? He's my guide when I step out and forward in, so whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king, Jah is my guide when Philistines come down upon me, so whom shall I fear? He's my guide when my enemies come to devour, so whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king, Jah is my guide from the pestilence of
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. On the heels of today's edition of Land Solutions, it's time for us to highlight a very significant week in our education system. This is National Mathematics Week 2021. And we just last weekend shared with those listeners who managed to get up that early to listen to us on the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online. We shared an initiative of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora, JMED for short, their series of mathematics clinics. And we posted the flyer online and it went viral. People have been sharing it all over the place, and we're happy for that. It's an excellent time to take full advantage of the availability beyond the school hours of young people who are seeking to get ahead as best as they can as they prepare for CSEC mathematics, for example. We are connecting via Zoom members of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora, JMED, and we're also going to be joined by the acting head of department, the acting head of the mathematics department at Mushet High School in Wakefield, Trelawney, Mr. O'Neill Lawrence. So we're awaiting that connection and looking forward to connecting as well with Mr. William Fullerton, project coordinator for the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora JMED Mathematics Clinic. But let's go ahead with those who are already online. We have the chairman of the Education Task Force of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora JMED. He's also assistant principal at the ABA Oman International School. He is Dr. Miguel R. Barker. Good afternoon, Dr. Barker. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm fine, Dervan. Thanks for having us again.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. And considering that it is, what's this now, 23 minutes to midnight, is it? Or to one?
To one.
Later than I thought. Yes, we really appreciate your waiting up for us at this, what some people would refer to as an ungodly hour. Well, we thank you very much for joining us at this time, Dr. Barker. It speaks of the commitment as Jamaicans that you and the other members of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora have, that you would sacrifice a good night's rest to join us at this time to talk about your mathematics clinics and how you have been helping and will continue to help CSEC mathematics students who are continuing their preparations. Also online, we're happy to have joining us Jerome Cunningham. He's a mathematics teacher in the Kingdom of Bahrain, and he too is a member of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora Education Task Force. Welcome, Jerome Cunningham. I trust you don't have to consume too much Blue Mountain coffee to keep your eyes open at this time of the morning. It's already
not at all, not at all. These are regular times.
Well, we're happy to hear that.
Yes,
thank you very much.
We're 1 hour behind Oman, Muscat. So
I see. Well, we thank you very much, nonetheless, for joining us this late your time. Also, want to say welcome to the acting head of the mathematics department at Mushet High School in Wakefield, Trelawney, Mr. O'Neill Lawrence. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Dervan Malcolm. I am doing well, thanks a lot. It's a privilege to be here. Once again, I want to thank you for having us online.
Thank you very much for joining us. Dr. Miguel Barker, let's get a sense from you of how you've gone about making your contribution to education in Jamaica on behalf of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora. How did this come about in the first place?
All right, thank you again, Dervan, for giving this kind of exposure to the program that we have implemented. Now, The program that we have is called the Math Clinic. It started about maybe 4 or 5 months ago in December. And it really came out of another, what we call we call it a study-thon. What we used to have were these seasonal preparation sessions for students in different schools. And out of that, in December, we were working with one of the schools, Mushat High, and there was a request that we have something much more continuous, like a regular session working with students rather than one-off termly sessions. And so this request was made to Jerome and William to see if they could provide the mathematics sessions with those students. And so that became the beginning of a project that started all the way back in December and has been going continuously every Sunday. We started off on Thursdays and then switched to Sundays, but has been going continuously every week with students, starting first with Mushet, and then eventually it started to spread. We had a number of students coming in from different schools, and it just continued. And we decided at the time that the session was not going to just be, just running through topics very quickly. It was designed to be a regular math class that took the concepts in math step by step. And so both William, myself, and Jerome, we started to deliver those sessions. And what we have found is just that students took on to that program and were regular attenders to those sessions. Supposedly they found value in it, I think. So that's the nature of the Math Clinic that we started.
And O'Neill Lawrence, this is Holy Week on the Christian calendar, and the good book says, many are called, few are chosen. How did you get counted among the chosen few?
Well, that's a good question. We, as teachers at the Mushet High School, headed by the principal, Mr. Leighton Johnson, we want to ensure that we provide our students with the best learning opportunities and experience possible. So when I was instructed at first by the principal to register 25 of our CSEC students for the program, then I did so immediately because I knew that it is going to benefit the students. I can recall the words spoken by one of our vice principals, Mrs. Marcel Walker, when she was told about the initiative by the diaspora in the Middle East to give the students of Mushet High School free math lessons online for 1 day out of the week. She was elated and responded by saying that we need all the help that we can get, especially during the COVID-19 era, to ensure that our students are successful in the next sitting of the CSEC maths exam. And there have been numerous benefits of the Maths Clinic to the development of the students' mathematical reasoning and problem-solving skills. Observing the students online for the past months, I have seen how the students' confidence level has risen tremendously. Students are asking questions, participating actively by responding to questions asked. And of course, we have students who are able to assist and correct other students during the workout of mathematical questions. A few students to make mention of course, we have Kelia Hamilton, Evinia Hamilton, Triana Jarrett, Sienna Clark, and a number of other students. These are students who are well engaged in the lessons. We want to express a deep sense of gratitude and commendation.
Can we give you an opportunity to convey your gratitude right after this break, please? We have to take a break. Listeners?
It's National Mathematics Week, and we're featuring the work of the Jamaica Middle East diaspora.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
Tune into Farm Talk, 6:18 to 6:35 a.m. the first Tuesday of every month, and 6:18 to 6:45 p.m. the last Tuesday of every month for First and in the Field. Real issues, real solutions. Join the Newport First and team in the field as they identify problems and tell you how to address them. First and in the Field, Real Issues, Real Solutions is brought to you by Newport First and Jamaica Limited, the first on the land.
Jah is my light and my salvation. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide throughout this creation. So whom shall I be? Jah is my king. Jah is my guide in my resting and my rising. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide when I step out and forward. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king. Jah is my.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and being played out in this Holy Week. People talk about Lent and what you're giving up for Lent. Well, we have committed Jamaicans in the Middle East who have been giving up a lot of their precious time in the name of the development of our children, especially in the subject area of mathematics here in Jamaica. So they have been spending their time all the way from the Middle East, spending that time remotely, sharing their knowledge, expertise, wisdom, understanding with our students. And it's even more pointed, the fact that right now, yes, it's 13 minutes to 4 o'clock in the afternoon here in Jamaica, but in a place like Muscat, Oman, it's 13 minutes to 1 o'clock Tuesday morning already, and in Bahrain, the Kingdom of Bahrain, it's 13 minutes to midnight. And so that's the kind of sacrifice that these Jamaicans in the Middle East have made to play their part. So when a lot of us right here at home are whining and complaining and finding all kinds of excuses, this team of Jamaicans in the diaspora have been playing their part, as our national pledge says, in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. But of course, we always like to put in the disclaimer, passing christening picnic fuss. And therefore, the team in the Middle East are making sure that them picnic right here in Jamaica are being taken care of. And we appreciate that. So let's remind you of the team from the Middle East. Dr. Miguel R. Barker. He's assistant principal at ABA Oman International School. And he chairs the Education Task Force of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora, JMED for short. We're also delighted to have Jerome Cunningham. He is a mathematics teacher at Modern Knowledge Schools in the Kingdom of Bahrain, and he's a member of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora Education Task Force as well. O'Neill Lawrence is right here on the Rock, Jamaica. He's acting head of the mathematics department at Mushet High School in Wakefield, Trelawney. And you were on the verge of conveying gratitude to some key individuals. Mr. Lawrence, we'll give you that opportunity now to continue conveying gratitude.
Yes, definitely, Sir Malcolm. As I said, we want to express deep gratitude and commendation to the Maths Clinic team, headed by Mr. Barker, Dr. Barker, Jerome Cunningham, and also Mr. Fullerton for the time and effort that they have spent and the outstanding work that they are doing with the students in giving back, of course, to the land of their birth. So definitely thank you, fellows. Thank you a lot for all that hard work and dedication, the Jamaican students.
And let's talk to, thank you very much, Mr. Lawrence. Let's talk to Jerome Cunningham about the work that went into preparing, structuring. I mean, is it the same mathematics that you're teaching in the Middle East that our CSEC students are doing? Or is it your background in teaching in Jamaica and knowing the areas that are pursued at CSEC that that would allow you to be able to teach remotely without skipping a beat, so to speak?
Yes. So the resources we used are CSEC based, basically, generally. So what we do, the content in mathematics, it doesn't change. It's the same content right across the board. But for the practice part of our session, where we go through modeling questions and have students work on questions, asking questions too, we do practice questions from past papers, CXC past papers. We find that it's easy to access those materials online. So we use those materials to go through assisting students. So it's not hard in terms of what to get the material, basically. So from that point of view, we plan our lessons together. We prepare a content area first, and then after going through that portion, like for maybe the first 45 to an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and then after that, the students go through practicing specific question based on that content the concept that we're teaching for that particular day.
What is your impression of how the students here in Jamaica have been receiving the tutelage that you have been dispensing all the way from the Middle East?
Well, from my observation, I think we've seen great improvement, growth in the students' ability. As a matter of fact, when we just started, you could see that there was some deficiency in terms of some prerequisite knowledge and so forth. And that's why we decided that we weren't going to do a crash course, that we were going to do something that would be like a math class, basically. And what happens from that is that we are now seeing, the students are bringing knowledge from what they learned way in December to add to a topic that we're now teaching. And it is flowing. So students are growing and they are having a better knowledge of the requirement for the exam, for passing the exam and entering to the exam with more confidence. So it has been great so far. And for the next couple of weeks that we have left, probably 4 to 8 weeks left, I think we are going to get where we want to be. And it's going to be a success in terms of the results from these students.
Dr. Miguel Barker, it does help that this is not your first foray in playing your part in educating or supporting the education of our children, right?
Yeah, it does. Sometimes we one of the things that we are realizing is somehow there are many things that we try to do when we're in the diaspora. And what has happened recently with COVID, it has shown us that, there are many things that we could have done many, many years ago, but we just didn't use it. But all the technology was still available. What COVID has done is shown us that we can actually as members of the diaspora, have a real impact back at home. And sometimes when we leave, we forget, what are some of the conditions under which students have to learn. And so, especially when we started to work with some of these students, I think one of the time we found out that there was a student in one of the groups that didn't have a calculator. And I remember there was a resolve that we are going to find a way to get a calculator to that student, which we did. And it involved a number of handovers, like someone sending the money to someone buying the calculator and getting that calculator delivered to that student. And for us, as we're teaching math, and we're all Jamaican trained math teachers. We go over the world and we give our service to help other students from different countries. But for us, this is not about making money or anything. And in fact, not even for the publicity. I think what we realized as we were delivering this project with students, we started to realize that this was actual quality. And so one of the reasons why we are on this program and why we were here on Saturday was to say to people, this is already happening. It doesn't need additional people for it to happen. What we're saying is, here's an opportunity. If you are at home and you're feeling a little bit, behind in your math, or due to COVID, you might not be able to connect with your classes in the way that you want to connect with it. Or if in your school, you're having a shortage of math teachers to reach your students, here's an opportunity. Now, we're seeing that in our live classes, we're now having up to 90 students in our live classes. Yeah. And that students who are staying, you could imagine students could sign in at the start of a 2.5-hour session and disappear, but they're staying for the entire time. And God knows how they're accessing this. We know that some are just on a mobile phone, but they're staying and ensuring that they're getting that learning. So we try to cater to them. We're constantly asking students, what topics do you want us to cover? And we take our time to ensure that they learn. So as Jerome mentioned, we have a math clinic at the start. We go through any question that they bring. If they come and they say, I'm doing this week in school and you're struggling, can you go over it? We go through that question step by step. But we also have a program of topics that we plan to deliver. And we deliver those topics. And then we have consolidation. But what makes this work, and if any school is looking at coming into this, is the support we get on the ground from the schools if they're bringing groups of students. And that's where you have someone like Mr. Lawrence, someone we can say, hey, we're going to start and we only see 10 students or 15 students or whatever. And say, can you just reach out? And by the time we send that message to Mr. Lawrence, we just see the numbers just starting to grow because he just gets onto it. And maybe I don't know what he does, but they start to turn up to the classes and so on. So any school who are thinking of getting involved in this, just remember that it works. As I said, one hand can't clap. We want to provide the service, but we also need support on the ground. So we're very, very happy with how it has gone. We have no interest in stopping this. Just recently, we were talking about summer school. So we have no interest in stopping this. It's going to continue because this is something that we've committed to and feel like it's having real impact.
That's encouraging news. And O'Neill Lawrence, it does help. Yes, you play your part, and you're still playing your part at Mushet High School as acting head of the mathematics department. But it does help that you're getting additional support from your fellow Jamaicans, fellow math teachers, Jamaican math teachers in the Middle East. What is that like?
Yes, it feels very good. It feels good that it doesn't matter the distance or how far they are from the country, that they are still giving back and they are willing and able to help in whatever way possible. All right. So it feels real good to know that I can call upon them, and these are experienced teachers of mathematics. All right. So I can call upon them at any time and of course get their help and advice on certain things as well. All right. So the program is going well, and of course, we didn't just want to be selfish where Mushet High is concerned. We wanted to spread the good news.
You wanted to spread the love. Tell us about that after the break, please.
Head of the mathematics, acting head of the mathematics department at Mushet High School. It's National Mathematics Week, and we're looking at the work being done by the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora Education Task Force. There's more after the break.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Under the law. Know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. Under the law.
Brought to you today by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
Whether you're a small farmer, street vendor, big investor, every entrepreneur got to wise up about your money. You have to make sure say your money secure. When you need to grow, you have access to more.
Financial inclusion means that individuals and businesses have access to useful and affordable financial products and services that meet their needs.
Access to more money, more credit, whatever your business needs. When you work hard for your money must work for you.
Miss Gooden, thanks for coming to discuss your complaint with me personally.
I knew I didn't have to come in, but I prefer not to discuss my business on the telephone. I live around the corner anyway.
I understand. First, let me apologize that you did not feel the matter was being dealt with when you came into the bank last week. But it just came to my attention a couple of days ago that you have been trying to lodge a complaint about some new charges on your bank statement.
I appreciate your prompt response, Miss Evans. I got your email this morning. So where do we go from here?
We will be looking into the matter, and by next week, we will give you a progress report.
So I can expect the charges to be reversed?
Not necessarily, Miss Gooden. The situation will be carefully assessed, and within 45 business days, we will inform you of the outcome.
45 days? Why so long?
That's how much time we are allowed under the Banking Services Act Code of Conduct to ensure that the situation is properly investigated so that we can arrive at a solution that is fair to you and fair to us. But of course, that does not mean we will necessarily take the entire 45 business days.
The deposit-taking institution shall investigate complaints and respond in writing to the complainant, acknowledging receipt of the complaint within 5 business days from the date of the receipt of the complaint. The acknowledgement must state a period within which an initial response to the complainant on the progress of the investigation will be provided, and a response outlining the final decision within a period not exceeding 45 business days, and further ensure that where the complaint is upheld, in whole or in part, this response includes a description of the action taken or to be taken to remedy the situation. And if the complaint is rejected, in whole or in part, a reason for the rejection of the complaint is also provided, and that the Bank of Jamaica is duly notified in writing of this decision and the reason for the decision. That's how it is under the law.
Brought to you today by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
Join us Mondays at 6:45 and 8:45 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. on Power 106 FM for Under the Law.
In the beginning, Jah created the heaven and the earth. Then created man of his own likeness. Gave unto man.
Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 4:04. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4:04. 现在几点了？4点04分. 4 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, as we continue to celebrate National Mathematics Week here in Jamaica. And we could not have thought of a better way to kickstart the week than with the featuring of the work of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora Education Task Force. And that was started on Saturday. Here's the continuation and wrap up for the time being on Monday. And we We are happy that students all over Jamaica and their parents and guardians and other educators are on board, are coming on board, so much so that some kind of expansion is going to be necessary to accommodate the increased numbers. This is great. We're excited when people get excited about education because that is the only way. As we like to say to the children, education is your passport. Education is your visa. Education is your plane ticket. It will take you everywhere. And so it is. And so let's remind you of our panelists, Dr. Miguel R. Barker. He's an assistant principal, the assistant principal at ABA Oman International School. He chairs the Education Task Force for the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora, JMED for short. Jerome Cunningham is a member of the JMED Education Task Force. He teaches mathematics at the Modern Knowledge Schools in the Kingdom of Bahrain. And O'Neill Lawrence is the acting head of the mathematics department at Mushet High School in Wakefield, Trelawney. O'Neill Lawrence, you were about to tell us that you're not selfish at Mushet High School. Yes, you got in early, and obviously before a lot of other students from a lot of other institutions, but you've been sharing you've been spreading the love, so to speak, haven't you?
Yes, definitely, Mr. Malcolm. Because at the end of the day, when the results are in, there will be a percentage reflecting the entire country of Jamaica, right? And so therefore, I found it very necessary that especially the neighboring schools, high schools and across the island should come in on this, all right? It is indeed, it is indeed noteworthy. It is indeed something good, all right? So something good is taking place, and that's giving our students the best education and learning experience possible in mathematics. I want to thank the team again, wholeheartedly, for their dedication and commitment to serving the nation's children here of mathematics.
And for some children listening to us now, Jerome Cunningham, and feel free to chime in when you can, O'Neill Lawrence, on this, and of course, Dr. Barker as well, all of you. Why do you think so many of us as Jamaican children have had this mindset that mathematics is hard? And to what extent do you think this kind of increased support is likely to reduce that level of anxiety when it comes on to mathematics?
Okay. Let me shoot something out firstly, just to say, in my experience, everywhere I go, mathematics is seen as a challenging, and students are of a fear. I taught in Mexico before I came here, and it was the same thing, and it's the same thing here. Students just see mathematics as one of those subjects that is difficult. I think there is just a stigma placed on it. But this that we're doing, I think it has brought about a lot of encouragement to students. Even though students might know that, yes, we are Jamaicans teaching overseas, but the support that they probably are seeing from persons who are not just their immediate teachers, but persons outside of their
parents and guardians, friends.
Yes. I think they feel a lot more engaged. When I was in Jamaica, one of the things I realized that worked well with even math preparation for CSEC, we used to go around to different schools to hold math workshops. And just being an outsider in the school, it got students excited. So I think this program also brings that sort of excitement for students. And once you have the students being motivated like that to want to take part in it, it push away the fear. And once the fear is out of the door, then students start to realize, oh, I can do this, and then understand, you start to see growth and improvement.
Yeah. I think that's a valid point, Jerome. You won't hear people going around saying that, I can't read, or, I find it hard to spell and stuff like that. Why you find people easily say in any conversation that, I'm not good at math. And you get a lot of people reassuringly supporting them. And I think as we look at something like a National Mathematics Week, the message has to be that, it's maybe not good enough for us to speak and acknowledge and support this kind of dialogue and this kind of discussion. This kind of approach to it doesn't help the younger ones, because it gives them a kind of feeling that it's okay if you're not good at math. So when we look at the national picture, we really need to think about what is the message that we're sending to our young people. I don't think our students are anywhere less. We've traveled the world. Jerome mentioned that he was working in Mexico. I've been in the UK for 10 years working in the system. They struggle because it's the same thing that's happening. Now, Jamaica has a real opportunity, and especially now with the technology that is available, we can really break that mold. So, I hope that the message from our National Mathematics Week is about us setting the trend rather than even trying to catch up. And I think William is coming to join us now. I think he's just woken up.
Yes, well,
and one of the things
ahead.
I did was make sure that I didn't get into some of the stuff that William would speak about, because he's actually the person who's in charge of the database and what kind of reach we're having. So, welcome, William.
Welcome, William Fullerton, project coordinator for the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora JMED Mathematics Clinic, a member of the JMED Education Task Force, and himself a math teacher at the Sultan's School in Muscat, Oman. Go ahead, please, and give us an update on how the program has been working.
Thank you, Dervan. The program is going at the moment. We've got the last session we had. We've had 90, an average of 90 kids who attended. Over 90 kids attended the session. The number of schools has also increased. I haven't, because it's all over the world, the country. Doesn't make.
He's my guide from the vampire of hell. So shall I afraid?
Jah is my keeper. Jah is my keeper.
Jah is my health and my strength. So whom shall I fear? He's a shield upon my right and my left hand. So whom shall I be afraid?
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
Miss Betty, early blight, take over my tomato. And the pepper full of powdery mildew. What me I gonna do?
Clear way.
Oh, you are tell me to clear away. You think me and your friend?
No, Mas Kelso. May I tell you to use Clearway from Newport First and Jamaica. It is a contact and systemic fungicide with protective and curative actions against a wide range of fungal diseases such as anthracnose and early blight in tomato, purple blotch in onion, late blight in potato, leaf spot in peanut, powdery mildew in pepper, and much more.
Thanks, Miss Betty. You're really my friend. You're coming Newport First and rep right now. Can't forget that name there. Clearway.
Clearway. Farmers, get your supply today. Another premium product from Newport First and Jamaica Limited.
Both sides of the story.
Tune in this and every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for Kids Connect during Both Sides of the Story with host Dervan Malcolm to join in a series of discussions on building a strong relationship with your child. We invite children to call in and voice their concerns. This broadcast is brought to you by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, Every Child Deserves Protection, Margins Pharmacy, and Community Meds Pharmacy. That's a live broadcast of Kids Connect during Both Sides of the Story with host Dervan Malcolm at 3:30 p.m. this and every Tuesday, right here on Power 106 FM.
Sides of the story.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise the public that only persons with an appointment for Saturday, March 27. No, I think this is the... Well, let's update this PSA and come back in a moment.
Gave unto man wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
Jah is my help and my strength, so whom shall I fear? He's a shield upon my right and my left hand, so whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king. Jah is my light and my salvation. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide throughout this creation. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king. Jah is my guide in my resting and my rising. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide when I step out and forward in. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king. Jah is my guide when Philistines come down upon me. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide when my enemies come to devour. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king. Jah is my guide from the pestilence of darkness. So whom shall I fear? He's my guide from the vampire of hell. So whom shall I afraid?
Jah is my keeper.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. Que hora es en español? Son las 4:20. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4:20. 现在几点了？4点20分. 20 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica, which means it's, what's that now? 20 minutes past 1 o'clock, 20 past 1 on Tuesday morning in Muscat, Oman, and 20 minutes past midnight in Bahrain. Yeah, that's the commitment of these Jamaicans in the Middle East, that they would be up at this time to share with us in this special week, National Mathematics Week in Jamaica. And beyond that, their math clinic, which they've been hosting for some time now. And this math clinic has been growing in popularity. Let's remind you of this team of committed Jamaicans in the Middle East. Dr. Miguel R. Barker is assistant principal at ABA Oman International School. He's a mathematics teacher himself. He chairs the education task force of the Jamaica Middle East diaspora. Jerome Cunningham is a member of the, well, before we get to Jerome, William Fullerton is project coordinator for the JMED. And when you hear the term JMED, we're talking about Jamaica Middle East Diaspora, JMED. So William Fullerton is project coordinator for the JMED Math Clinic. He's a member of the JMED Education Task Force, and he's a math teacher at the Sultan's School in Muscat, Oman. Jerome Cunningham is a mathematics teacher at Modern Knowledge Schools in the Kingdom of Bahrain. He too is a member of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora JMED Education Task Force. And O'Neill Lawrence is the acting head of the mathematics department at Mushet High School in Wakefield, Trelawney. When we lost the connection, gentlemen, I believe Mr. Fullerton was giving us chapter and verse on the work, the mechanics of the JMED Math Clinic. Mr. Fullerton, please pick up where we left off a few minutes ago.
Thank you, Dervan. Yes, we were talking about the number of students, the interest that we're having at the moment. Our last lesson, thanks to the advert that you gave us, or the time you've given us, we have over 90 interests who were in the lesson for the 2.5 hour session that we had there on Sunday. So the students are showing interest. We've got now 240 students who are a part of the WhatsApp group that after we have taught the students, we share the resources with them so they have access to it and the Google Classroom. So the math clinic, as we know it, is a 2.5 hour session. A half an hour session, which is from 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., is the maths clinic, an actual clinic in which students come with their questions, whatever they want to know about math. It may be just a question, it may be a concept that they need developing that they have already been taught, and there are a few questions that they would like from us. For the next 2 hours, we've got a conceptual, systematic delivery of the content, and after which we'll have the students practicing the concept that was taught. And so we take our time with each topic as we go along for their understanding. It is always an interesting, or I'm always happy, and our team is always happy to share with our children. And the interest that the kids have shown and the persistence that they have shown, and just participating, just being there for the 2 hours. You would think that after an hour, kids will get tired. No, they are there wanting to learn, and we're there to support them. If one student is there, we're there. If 90 is there, we'll be there every Sunday to support them.
Thank you very much for your work, William Fullerton, as project coordinator for the JMed Math Clinic. Now, we've been getting a lot of interest and people wanting to connect, people wanting their children, their students to participate, to be a part of the experience. Can you remind us how students who are of the CSEC age, who want to be a part of the math clinic, how they can go about making those arrangements?
Okay.
Who wants to take that? Sorry, go ahead, William.
All they need to do is to send us an email. And the email address is jmedetf@gmail.com. That's the abbreviations for Jamaica Middle East Diaspora Education Task Force @gmail.com. Just send me an email and I will send all the registration details that they need to do in order to join the WhatsApp group, to join Google Classroom, to join the lessons on a weekly basis, and to have access to all the resources that we have.
So that's jmedtf@gmail.com.
jmedetf.
Sorry. jmedetf.
Yes.
E for Education Task Force.
Yes.
jmedetf@gmail.com. Neil Lawrence, where are you on the curriculum right now, the mathematics curriculum, as you continue to prepare students at Mushat High School for CSEC math?
We are actually at statistics. So we are basically looking at the cumulative frequency curve. And of course, due to the fact that physical schooling has been out for an extended period of time, that some of the content areas will not be covered fully for this academic year. And so therefore, that's why we have to thank so much the team from Diaspora, the Middle East, for doing this excellent, putting together this initiative of a weekly class for students. But I don't see where we are going to cover every material, every content area. All right, and this is a good idea of sessions with the students on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and I ask the question because there's a general feeling, and some would say it's the reality on the ground, that a lot of our students are behind. So I'm just wondering the extent to which these math sessions are helping to keep you on track in line with the CSEC timeline for the first of the math exams.
They are helping a lot. So they are helping to try to see if they can push on the effect of some of the content areas that the students will not normally be exposed to. And of course, I think I heard Mr. Fullerton mention earlier that in one of the half-hour sessions, just before the session starts, that students want to have a basic idea of circuit theorem. And of course, I'm looking forward to that lesson as well. All right.
Good. Dr. Miguel Barker, there's a saying that the reward for good work is more work. And I'm wondering, how prepared are you for a barrage of requests for other subject areas, not just mathematics, and indeed for mathematics at the primary level as well, as opposed to only at the CSEC level. Think about it while we take this break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
I save because one day my little business is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, and I make sure to put away a little something for my son. Better safe than sorry.
And thanks to JDIC, deposit insurance protection on my savings gone up.
You've been upgraded. Deposits held in commercial banks, building societies, and merchant banks are covered under the JDIC Deposit Insurance Scheme up to $1.2 million per depositor per institution.
The JDIC is big protection for every little thing that matters to me.
No, that's name real upgrade.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Tune into Farm Talk, 6:18 to 6:35 a.m. the first Tuesday of every month, and 6:18 to 6:45 p.m. the last Tuesday of every month for First San in the Field. Real issues, real solutions. Join the Newport First San team in the field as they identify problems and tell you how to address them. First San in the Field. Real issues, real solutions is brought to you by Newport First San Jamaica Limited, the first on the land.
Jah is my guide when Philistines come down upon me. So who shall I fear? He's my guide when my enemies.
Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 5:28. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5h moins 28. Tiens, TDN le ou dien cha arsher ba fen. 28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. And parents and guardians, do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on this National Mathematics Week special edition of Both Sides of the Story, featuring the work of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora, JMED for short. The chairman of the Education Task Force is Dr. Miguel R. Barker. He's a math teacher from right here in Jamaica, now serving as assistant principal of ABA Oman International School, and naturally chairs the Education Task Force for the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora, JMED. We are also happy to have with us William Fullerton, math teacher at the Sultan's School in Muscat, Oman. He too is a member of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora Education Task Force. In fact, he's the project coordinator for the JMED Maths Clinic. We welcome Jerome Cunningham as well, another member of the JMED Education Task Force. Jerome teaches mathematics at the Modern Knowledge Schools in the Kingdom of Bahrain. And O'Neill Lawrence is acting head of the mathematics department at Mushat High School in Wakefield, Trelawney. And together, we've been talking mathematics, math counts. And so then, we were checking with you, and before you answer that question, I thought of something else, Dr. Miguel Barker. Again, in line with the thinking and the experience that some children are being left behind because of technology issues, etc., etc. How practical is it, Dr. Miguel Barker, to expect that with increased hours working on a particular subject, that you can in fact bring the students up to date, up to speed, up to the time without some kind of learning loss?
All right. So I think the way that we look at it is say, how do you eat an elephant, you know? And you eat an elephant one bite at a time. Yeah? One bite at a time. And I suppose that's what we're looking at. You know, we could look at the problem and say, they're so far behind, we can't do anything. So if you look at the list of topics that we have decided to focus on, we believe that these topics are transferable to other areas. So a lot of the work that we have been doing is on algebra, because what you'll find is that the students' grasp of algebra serves a number of purposes. One, it gives them the skill set to access other areas of the learning. So for example, if they're doing algebra, they can do topics such as, you know, like even mensuration and other topics. So we are focusing on it. The second part of that is that algebra is also one of those areas that carries a lot of marks on the exam paper. So again, we make sure that we focus on that because it cuts through and provides the kind of, you know, skill set that they need. The other part of it is that a lot of students bring a lot of phobia to algebra. And so they believe that it's one of those things that if they break that algebra negative vibe, they can then feel confident that they can do other things in maths. So to answer your question, you know, we don't know to what extent we can say bridge the gap to the point where there's no gap being left. But what we believe is that the choice of topics that we're covering will certainly accelerate them moving towards having greater success in those exams. And so what we're doing is based around that. So we're not trying to race to fill the gap. We're trying to ensure that the topics that we cover are covered in such a way that there's no gap in those topics. So there are no shortcuts offered. And it's a very deliberate and fully considered program. We're trying to harness the power of the technology. So if you join one of those sessions, you'll see, you know, we're working, solving problems live online. It's very interactive. Students ask questions. We have moved from a point where we had students and you'll say, you'll be working through a problem and a child will say to you, sir, I don't understand. And I remember this conversation very, very clearly. And I said, which part of the problem do you not understand? And the child says, all of it. And that's after working through the problem. And I'm like, that's not the level of communication that we want when we talk about mathematics. Because when a child says all of it, what do? Now we're finding that the students are a lot more...
Sorry to cut you. I just remember what you're going to say. Just as you said that, now I remembered an experience in a math class at Calabar High School. Mr. Smith was the maths teacher. The questioner was Ayun Harrison, my good friend, somewhere elsewhere in the world now. Ayun raised his hand in a math class and he was acknowledged by Mr. Smith. He said, sir, I do not understand. Mr. Smith asked, what is it you don't understand? Ayun's response was, everything, sir. Mr. Smith said, that question was not made for you, and moved on. You know, but I never forget it. I remember that. But seriously though, to get back to the point you're making, you're saying on the spot there, you want to encourage, and you do encourage students to speak up, to express themselves. Don't sit there and pretend as if they understand, when in fact they don't understand.
Yes, but what I also wanted to point out is the growth that we have seen in the students as they have participated in this session. So what we used to have was that kind of discourse, you know, where students would just say, I don't understand. And when we try to probe, they would say everything. And to be fair, that's maybe how they felt, or they certainly didn't feel confident enough to express, you know, that kind of forensic view of math to say, that's the part. What we are seeing now in the sessions, though, is a lot more communication happening with them, through us and with them, in the sense that they are now pointing out exactly what aspect of the problem and the working out that they are finding challenges with, which allows us to know surgically, to follow on the math clinic side of it, to go in and explain that particular point. But that only happens with the learner moving towards us and feeling more trust in the environment to say, I have a problem. Now remember that we're working in an environment where we have a lot of students working with a lot of students that they don't know. They don't know many of these students. So when you find students developing the confidence to express their mathematics confusion questions in this kind of environment, it means that one of the fundamental piece of maths learning is happening, which is students willing to share where they are in that process, because that's when they begin to learn, when they show that vulnerability. So, Mr. Lawrence talked about the growth. We're seeing that the nature of the questions that we're getting and the nature of interaction has improved immensely. And the teachers will testify to that. It's just a different environment over time as they begin to see what we're doing.
All right. So the other question I had asked had to do with the reward for hard work or good work being more work. And since you've been doing such a remarkable job in marshalling the various aspects of CSEC mathematics for our students, what about requests coming in for you to, for example, help the PEP students, or perhaps another subject from the standpoint of being the education task force of the Jamaica Middle East diaspora?
As I said, the reward for hard work is more work. We certainly have other teachers waiting in the wings to join projects that we're doing. But one of the things I've been saying to William and I, we have a number of conversations about what we want to do. We certainly want to ensure that we don't have too many projects, so we are stretched so thin that we can't provide the kind of support for this kind of stuff. So we are aware of the PEP challenges, and we certainly believe that we can add value in that. We're looking for teachers who are experienced in PEP in the diaspora, because the other thing is you don't want people who don't know what they're doing helping teachers and helping students in those areas. So we're aware of that. We're looking at ways in which we can support, but where we feel we have the expertise, that's where we have put that kind of pressure. We feel that we have the math CSEC support. We feel that we're bringing expertise into that area, and we're trying to ensure that we focus on that so that we don't push ourselves in a way that we're providing too many things in too many places but not having any real impact. So we are mindful of that. At the CSEC class at the moment, as I said, the maximum we have so far is going to be 100. So if you are feeling like you want to be part of this, you really need to make sure that you send that email to Mr. William, the JMEDETF at gmail.com to ensure, and make sure you're on time, because it's almost a first come, first serve at the moment. We can accommodate 100. We're looking at ways in which we can stream the classes as the popularity increases. But trust me, there is no greater value than being in the live environment and being able to ask your questions and being able to feel that energy of so many students from so many parts of the world. And I know I speak on behalf of all the teachers. It's really, really, we do this. We know that there are many teachers out there who are offering online classes, but they're charging for it. I've seen it, a lot of people online, and everyone has to do what they're doing. We are just doing this because we feel that, we have been abroad. I've been abroad for over 20 years. And I always wanted to find a way to get involved. And so this is really, really just heartwarming for me, and feeling like we're being able to get through. So I know William and I have some deep conversations about where to go. I don't know if he's going to start a PEP class. William?
At the moment, no, but definitely in the wings. It's not for this year. As you've said, we've had the conversation about how to support PEP and what we intend to do. At the moment, we want to start with the year 4s, to work with the year 4s and not interfere with the year 6 until we get an understanding of it. But this is not a launch, Dervan. This is not a launch of the support for PEP as yet. It's still in the making, where it's a conversation that Dr. Barker and I are having. You, however, made mention of different subject areas, and I'm sure Dr. Barker didn't cite that one at all. It's just that we at the moment, we have not yet received any inclination from the students that they need other subject areas. And so we,
All right, let's
because
talk some more after the break. Tell us more.
From the vampire, so shall I.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
The Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce presents MIIC Live on both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm every first and third Thursday at 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Learn more about the manufacturing strategy, modernization in trading, foreign direct investments, and much more right here on Power 106 FM. This broadcast of MIIC Live is brought to you by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
Jah is my healer. Jah is my health and my strength. So whom shall I fear? He's a shield upon my right and my left hand. So whom shall I be afraid?
Que ahora es en espagnol, son las 5:13. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:13. 现在7点了，5点加14分。13 13 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? We can tell you the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora Education Task Force has been having a very productive time at sharing, imparting mathematics at the CSEC level to our students right across this country. And the work continues. We're happy to celebrate the work of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora JMED Education Task Force in this way, celebrating them in a week when we observe National Mathematics Week activities. So happy National Mathematics Week to everyone. And we're happy to feature the work of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora JMED through their math clinic. If you need more information, jmedetf@gmail.com. If you want to get on board, JMED, that's JMEDETF@gmail.com. JMEDETF@gmail.com. And going to the break, William Fullerton, I think you were referencing, you were saying not yet for PEP?
Yes, yes, I would say not yet for PEP. Not because the idea came. The idea came. I think the idea was with us, Dr. Miguel and I. We had this conversation before the math clinic, for the CSEC. But what we noticed that the need for the CSEC was greater than that for the PEP at the moment, because we have been out of the system for a while. So we need to first get ourselves acquainted with the syllabus. We know it is a conceptual learning scenario because PEP has changed in the past 2 years, the way they are evaluated or assessed. And so we're aware of that. So we need others who are more familiar with the program for that part of the program to kick off. I will make a pledge on behalf of the education task force that for next academic year, there will definitely be something in place for PEP, along with what we have here for the CSEC group continuing.
Thank you very much, William Fullerton. As we get ready to wrap, gentlemen, I want to start with you, Jerome Cunningham, in this National Mathematics Week. If you could channel a message to those listening to us, especially the young people, not least of all those preparing for CSEC mathematics, what would you say to them?
Okay. First of all, I would like to say thanks for having us on this platform. To use this medium to sell the idea of a math clinic. And then to students who are listening, I would like to say, listen, preparation is key. And every form of assistance that you can get, you should take it. And this is a free platform that we are offering, free chance for you to, build some confidence, get some extra additional knowledge on preparing for the math exam. So grab onto it in whatever way or form. Try to get in linked to this. And those teachers who are hearing, and that you have students who are, you're preparing. It's good to have, because in my experience, it's the students who are more confident in CSEC are those who have had an extensive preparation for the exam. And we know that what COVID has caused, it has caused less face-to-face classes, and it has impacted education in a negative way. But we have, few positives coming out of it, and this is one. So please, take opportunity of it. To grab onto the opportunity as best as you can. All right, that's it.
Well said. Thank you, Jerome. Mr. Lawrence, acting head of the mathematics department at Mushet High School. Perhaps you could speak not just to your students, but the general student body.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Malcolm. The math clinic is essential, right? Because I have always believed that the more you practice the maths, the better you are at it. All right. So I am encouraging all students nationwide just to join in. The lessons are engaging, all right, and they have a chance to ask questions and to participate as much as possible, so that we can try to bridge the gap where the content area in mathematics is concerned. All right. So thanks again to the team in the diaspora in the Middle East, Mr. Barker and Mr. Fullerton, Cunningham, and of course, thank you very much, Mr. Fullerton, all right, for all the support, all the help, the guidance, and the work that you are doing with the students of Jamaica. Thanks a lot, guys.
Dr. Barker?
I think there's a lot of people to thank for this. But for us, this is all about finding a way to help students and with their mathematics. We're trying to convey our expertise, but certainly we want to convey our passion as well to students. And we hope that in those sessions that students who are in those Google Meets are feeling what it's like to be in the presence of people who love mathematics, who like to share mathematics, who have a passion for mathematics. And we're hoping, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we just value the fact that students take the time out of their Sundays, and make their way to come online. Just imagine that, Sunday school for mathematics. And for us, that's just the first down payment on it. And what we're just trying to do is repay that, just by saying, if you're willing to give up the time to come on a Sunday, we're trying to ensure that it is quality. We're trying to ensure that when they leave, they go and say to their friends, you're missing out. We want them to leave feeling energized. We want them to feel like this is helping them. And so one of the things that we do all the time, and William, I'll say to William, we finish and we talk and we say, was that good? Was that good enough? we're constantly trying to find a way, and trying to find out. And people like Mr. Lawrence are in the group. We're trying to get feedback from them. Was that good enough? Because for us, this is not about us. It's about trying to find a way to reach the students and ensuring that they love mathematics. So as we continue, this is really what it is, Dervan. And we are reaching out to you only because we felt that this is quality and we wanted more people to participate in it because there was space for that. But as I pointed out before, the space is filling up. And so anyone who is thinking that they're going to wait next week or wait another week and wait another week, they're going to find that eventually we might have to say you might have to watch it on a streaming service and not be part of the group. But before I even go up, I just want to just quickly mention a little bit about some of the partners that we have working with the Jamaica Middle East diaspora. It's a quick shout out about what we're doing beyond just education, so people know. And if you're in, because one of the things is that there are people in the Middle East, and they might not know of the work that we're doing and how they can participate. And even though it's called the Jamaica Middle East diaspora, it doesn't mean that people in the diaspora cannot participate in the projects that we're doing. It's just the location of it and so on. And I'm just going to say that as well, Dervan. I realize that you're doing the languages, all the languages. I don't hear you doing any Arabic. I'm not feeling, I don't hear any Arabic, but I'm leaving that for the time being. So
you're going to have a session for me on a Sunday, Arabic clinic.
Yeah, so for those, there are a number of projects. We certainly have the Study-thon that is coming up soon, and that's going to be like a marathon session. And they spoke about other subjects. There is going to be some science happening in that, and some English as well with the Study-thon. So there are a number of projects that we have that are reaching students in different schools, working with different partners. But we're open for more partners. And you mentioned PEP. If we have the right kind of attitude, the right kind of vibe, schools are ready to bring people in, we will find a way. But this is about the students and just finding a way to help them in this time.
Well done. And of course, William Fullerton, you would want the students to know that the next class will be in session on Sunday, the 4th of April, correct?
Yes, Dervan, you are correct. Dervan, I would like to give a shout out to stakeholders, our parents. We want to thank the parents who have provided the environment, the right atmosphere for the students on a Sunday morning for them to be there. They provide them with the data or the Wi-Fi and giving them the time off so that they can be attending this math session, so that we as a group are able to assist in closing the gap that the pandemic has created in the teaching and learning process. And for our students, I just want
Sorry, that's where we're going to have to leave it. We're out of time. Sorry for the abrupt end to that discussion. You were listening there to the chairman of the project coordinator, I beg your pardon, of the JMed Mathematics Clinic, William Fullerton. He's a member of the JMed Education Task Force. He's a math teacher at the Sultan School in Muscat, Oman. Thanks as well to Dr. Miguel R. Barker. He chairs the Education Task Force of the Jamaica Middle East Diaspora, JMed, and he's an assistant principal at ABA Oman International School. Thanks as well to Jerome Cunningham, member of the JMed Education Task Force, maths teacher at Modern Knowledge Schools in the Kingdom of Bahrain, and Mr. O'Neill Lawrence, acting head of department for mathematics at Mushat High School in Wakefield, Trelawney. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
The shield upon my right and my left hand. So whom shall I be afraid? Jah is my king.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's news at 5.
Coming up in the news segment of Beyond the Headlines, today, Monday, March 29, 2021. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says don't expect COVID-19 pandemic to end soon if vaccine hoarding continues. PAHO says work to develop a COVID-19 vaccine in Cuba has advanced to the phase 3 clinical trial stage. Investigators delaying charging the suspect who was taken into custody for the murder of 20-year-old Kenise Jackson. Juta operator chopped to death at his house in St. Anne. In business news, World Bank predicts more fallout for some sectors and firms due to COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is cautioning that expectations that the COVID-19 crisis is nearing its end will have to be tempered if richer countries continue to hoard vaccines. During today's United Nations high-level financial